Hey guys, and welcome to the DBGA podcast, a podcast where we interview top level executives inside leading and growing companies in the beauty and e commerce space. Excited to have our guest today, Peter Murane. We'll be diving into his story and a little bit what his company does and some engaging insights into the beauty industry. So I'll go ahead and kick it off to you, Peter. Could you please introduce yourself and tell us a bit of your story and your background prior to working at MOX?
Of course. Well, good morning. I have to first apologize. I'm sitting on a couch recovering from ankle surgery, so it's not the best setup, but we'll deal with it. My background is in consumer products. I started my career in consumer products about almost 30 years ago, and then went into brand consulting, where I really fell in love with innovation. And along the way, I decided to start a company, and then another one, and then another one. I've always been an entrepreneur, and I got particularly interested in the skincare category about 8 years ago when a pharmacist friend of mine asked me to help him commercialize an innovation he had. And it worked very well for the women's market. It's a cellular regeneration technology. And we thought, hey, we can also do this in the men's market. So that's the MOX brand, which we'll be talking about today.
Okay, so you kind of touched upon how you got into this industry, but what is about your job or industry that you're passionate about?
When pharmacist first approached me many years ago, I said, "Why are you doing this?" Because he had been very successful in the industry as a formulator and as a chemist, and he had his own pharmacy up in Boulder, Colorado. And his answer was so wonderful. He said, "I just love helping people," and for whatever reason, that just resonated with me. Having done so much in entrepreneurship and in consulting, it's not very often that you meet someone whose primary motivation is like, no, I really want to help people. And specifically, his area of passion was skin diseases, people with eczema, psoriasis, dermatitis, really bad acne, because the psychology of or the mindset of people when they have skin problems is it's extremely difficult on them socially. They don't want to get on Zoom calls. They don't want to go out. They don't feel good about themselves. And he really felt like he had a cellular strategy to help people with problem skin. And it was just his passion that drew me to, you know what, this would be a great thing for me to do to help him and to help other people. And it's been very, very successful. Our other brand is called Truth Treatments. It's now become a global brand. And you can see the pharmacist, whose name is Pharmacist Ben, all over the internet. He's a force. He's also a nutritionist, not just a chemist. So he has very much in fact, he identifies more as a nutritionist than a compounding chemist. So he's just a genius. And I recognize his talent, and I fell in love with his purpose.
Okay, well, thank you so much for sharing this. And now that you've been in this industry for a certain number of years, um, based on your experience, what are the current trends in the market that you are aware of? What winds are blowing? What are you noticing?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to talk about MOX. So MOX Skincare is based on a very emergent trend, and that is men embracing self-care. And it's very common for guys to identify with, yeah, I have to go to the gym. I have to take supplements. I want to eat better. I need to get my sleep. And if you go to kind of younger guys, there's also a dimension of like, I want to look good. I want to I want to proactively take care of my face. I get one of them and embrace self care there. Only about a third of men have a skincare regimen, which is very interesting. Um, but if you go to younger age brackets, it's higher. And some of that is cultural, right? Like just it's more normalized that people in my generation, right? Like you didn't really use skincare growing up. You might slap lotion on your face. You were loyal to your deodorant brand or your shaving cream brand, but personal care wasn't that as developed. People in their 30s, 20s are much more brand conscious, and they're much more willing to take preventative steps. There's also I think, an expectation from partners that guys embrace skincare, and oftentimes the partner is the key, right? Like if it's a you know heterosexual couple, like is gonna bring the products oftentimes into the home or encourage the guy to like embrace the regimen. Um, so I think the number one trend that we're observing is men embracing self care and younger men really embracing face care.
Okay, yeah, very interesting, and that's definitely something that I see as well. Now I want to learn more a little bit. Oh, sorry. Now I want to learn a little bit more about your company. So could you tell me about your company and what products are over at Mox?
Yeah, and I'll touch on a trend too. I mean, so our company is MOX Skincare. We have a very simple systems for men to embrace to adopt skincare regimens. Guys are not going to do a 10-step beauty regimen or wellness regimen. They just aren't. And they don't really feel comfortable using their partner's skincare, but they also don't really know what to use. So our systems are designed to make it really easy to adopt and embrace skincare. And we cover the most important dimensions of skincare, and that those include supplementation. So you need to put a vitamin into your skincare regimen. A topical vitamin is is equally important to eating well if you want healthy skin, because the vitamins, whether it's vitamin C, A, D, E, and K, um, they feed the cells that make your skin. And that's something that's really not well understood in the industry itself. So if you look at the skincare industry, most of the products are using a system that the ancient Greeks invented, where they're blending water with oil or water with wax, using an emulsifier to bind the two together because solid, waters and waxes don't like to mix. So emulsifiers bring them together. That's how you make a cream or a lotion. But because you're using a water system, you have to add preservatives, and it ends up being like if you look at a glass of water and you imagine a skincare product is the glass of water, you end up with these products that are 70, 80, 90% inactive because they're simply the water, wax, and oil combination. Yeah, there might be some vitamins added as a top kind of like to top off the glass to fill it up. But our pharmacist is really he really thinks it's a stupid model because it doesn't deliver the activity or the health nutrients that the skin needs. So he invented a different system, and the system is based on fat soluble vitamins. They're called lipophilic vitamins that penetrate through the 7 layers of the skin because you have 7 layers, and the top layer, by the way, is dead. You know that. So the system is designed to penetrate past the 7 layers down to the cells, and the cells are intelligent and they recognize food, and they take that vitamin C or vitamin A in its lipophilic form and upregulate everything. So they fix problems, they make your skin more hydrated, they make your skin stronger, more structure. So Mox uses this new system of lipophilic vitamin delivery and minerals, by the way, but we do it in a way that guys can really embrace it. So our flagship product is our nutrient serum. It may look like an oil, it's beautiful and golden, but it's really a vitamin, liquid vitamin. And you just apply it topically to your face. I do it once a day. That product is transformative. It is, 40 to 50 times more nutrition than a typical skincare product because it doesn't have the filler. There is no wax or oil or water. It's just the vitamin. We also have a product called Invisible Armor, which we just came out with, and it's a mineral sunscreen. As you know, mineral sunscreens are much healthier than chemical sunscreens. The best mineral sunscreen is zinc oxide. It blocks all the 3 wavelengths of light that cause sun damage, so UVA, UVB, UVC, but it doesn't have a toxicity profile like the chemical sunscreens do. The reason why we love this product is that when you rub it on, it goes in clear. So you've seen the people at the beach with the giant ghosty white face, right? It's not a good look. So this Invisible Armor product is so good because it, gives you zinc oxide protection, but when you rub it in, it goes clear. And people are raving about it. It's a great product because not only do you need to supplement with vitamins, but you have to protect from the sun. The sun causes tons of damage. And those are the two, I would say, most important steps in any skincare regimen. And then the third step I would say that is overlooked is how you clean your face, right? So a lot of guys will use soap and water. Um, it's pretty primitive because what that does is strip everything off your face, including all the moisture. So our pharmacist invented a system. We call it our invigorating peppermint cleanser that does not take the moisture off your face when you clean. So it'll take oil off and it'll take dirt off, and it's really invigorating because it's got peppermint oil in it, but it leaves the moisture. So you get a really hydrated look after cleaning your face. You don't get that dry, tight like a drum face that a lot of people get after they wash. And usually, what I'll do is wash my face at night using our peppermint cleanser, put on the multi nutrient serum, or I'll do it in the morning. And then if I'm going to have a day where I'm outside, put on some invisible armor. And that 3-step regimen covers, most of the need states that men have. You're going to get healthy looking skin, you're going to protect from the sun, and you're going to clean your face without making it dry. So those are the basics of MOX. And each of those products is very innovative in how it's made. Um, and it's approachable because guys can get behind 2 steps, 3 steps.
Well, thank you so much for sharing this. And I feel like you kind of touched upon already my next question, but I really want to give you the chance to really deep dive into this topic. So, what unique value do Mox products bring to your customers?
Yeah, far more nutrition than typical skincare in a simple system that speaks to men. We use a lot of humor in our content, in our ad strategy. This is not rocket science. This is not scary. This should be fun. And guys need a little nudging sometimes. So that's the unique value. We just make skincare so approachable, but we're doing it at a way that has nutritional integrity because it really is about nutrition at the end of the day. If you want great looking skin, if you want to walk into a room and have people go, damn, that guy's skin looks great, you have to supplement it with vitamins and minerals. Um, and most skincare, as I explained earlier, is inactive. It's just, let me just go one layer deeper on the old formulating system that the Greeks used. Um, when you put a lotion on your face that's made in the old way of combining water, wax, and oil, all it's primarily doing is dispersing an oil layer on the surface. So you might feel hydration, but really what you're feeling is the oil. It's not giving you healthy skin from the inside out, and that's what Mox does.
Okay, well, thank you so much for highlighting this aspect. And now I hear a lot that as a CEO, you have to wear so many hats. And I want to ask you personally, what are some of the challenges of being the CEO at Mox? What do the day to day challenges look like for you?
I think the biggest challenge for any CEO is when you make a strategic decision, you have to live with it for a year or two to know whether it's going to work. And if you make the wrong decision, it's painful because you use your resources, you send the team in a direction. If it doesn't work, like you have to backtrack. That's probably the toughest part about being a CEO. And the second would be, everyone looks to you to provide guidance, leadership, to be bulletproof, to be confident, and it can be extremely lonely running a company. And especially if you don't nail the strategy out of the gate, that's painful. And a lot of entrepreneurs relate to that. There's a phenomenal book called The Innovator's Dilemma, and it's written by a former professor who passed away about 10 years ago named Clayton Christensen. He talks a lot about in market success, especially with innovative products. And many people who are not a CEO who are or not an entrepreneur think that the path to success is linear, that you're going to make your plan and then execute your plan, and there'll be a point A to a point B. And I think the reality for most people who are in leadership positions is that it's messier. There's a lot of zigzagging, and I would say the key to being good at being a CEO is knowing when you have to zig and when you have to zag, and just doing it quickly so that you're not burning up your resources and you can be as nimble as you can be. But I think strategic choices weigh the most on leaders.
Yeah, definitely. That's a very good one. And like you said, there's so many things that a CEO needs to kind of juggle with. So, what type of mindset, in your opinion, is needed to be a successful CEO?
You have to be open minded. You have to be unflinching. this is not easy to do. So, you know, sticking to it, working hard, trying to lead by example, um, dusting yourself off because you get knocked down a lot. I mean, the failure part of any commercialization business is high. So it's just having resilience and having a positive mindset and not beating yourself up if it doesn't go perfectly. Just trying to take the larger view.
Okay, well, thank you so much. Now, I want to transition a little bit to a different topic because, as you know, we're a data analytics company. So I'm always curious to hear about other people's experiences when it comes to data analytics in the industry. So, um, for you, how does data influence decision making and strategies in the beauty industry?
Well, if you think about data is just everywhere and there's too much of it. I would say for a small brand, or an emerging brand, most of the data you're looking at is within a commerce channel. So in Google Analytics or in Shopify data or in the Amazon environment, in Klaviyo, which is our CRM system. And the reality for a generalist marketer is that you have to have specialists supporting you. So you might have a great brand, a great product, a wonderful vision of the future, but unless you have um, individual specialists who are talented in their specific domain, you're not going to be that successful in terms of generating ROI. So, nowadays, someone can have a career in Google Ads, right? Think about that. It's just so specialized. And there's too much information. So, and a lot of the decisions are made daily, right? There's a daily decision making framework that didn't exist when I grew up in consumer products, right? I worked for the Clorox company a long time ago, and I worked on like 10 different brands. And, it's funny. We did strategic planning once a year, and we did maybe one kind of big ad campaign per year. And now content is being created weekly and daily, and we're making decisions around media strategies daily. And there's a whole footprint of specialists who are looking specifically at ROI within their domain. So you really can't, one person can't be an expert in all of it. You need a team of talented folks who know what they're doing. So I would say that's how data influences what we do, but it's extremely channel specific.
Yeah, definitely. And especially now, like you said, you have data coming from so many different sources that it's difficult sometimes to cross that information and to really have a proper understanding of what's going on every channel.
Mm-hmm.
But could you share insights on the role of data analytics in understanding consumer preferences and trends, specifically at MOX?
Yeah, I would say that's an area where I wish we had more insight. So, for example, um, when you make a sale on Amazon, you don't really know who purchased because Amazon doesn't share the data. So it's a blind channel. Um, when you make a sale on Shopify, right? Like there's some information that you get, but that tool is not that good at helping you understand um, who's buying, who's loyal, what's the profile until you get a high volume of purchasers. So, persona profiling, I think, is something that could be better in the industry. And that's an area where I would encourage you to look like, how do you help brands understand who's embracing, who's loyal? Some of the MOX consumers are, they're extraordinary. They've bought the brand 25 or more times, right?
Mm,
But I can't tell you using Shopify. I have some hypotheses and we have some data.
mm,
Um, what makes them unique in the marketplace? And, Meta's the same way, right? Like Meta has audience lookalike strategies and has data profiling tools, but, they're primitive in a lot of ways because Meta doesn't share, you know, right? So for a consumer brand, you have to do things to capture your own data. Like you have to do your own surveys,
mm.
right? You have to call your most loyal customers once in a while, say, hey, tell me more about how the product's working for you and what do you love about Mox? And so I do that. I call our customers. They can't believe it. And I'm like, hey, thanks for being part of the Mox community. Tell me more about what's working, what's not working. No CEO calls somebody who's buying, but we do. And I think that's a way to gather more qualitative information. Yeah, that's what I would say. I mean, I think I'm not a data expert. I've been a marketing generalist and a CEO for a long time, but it's extraordinary how much data there is out there, and yet some is not that useful. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, definitely. And thank you for sharing this. And like you said, the platforms like Meta, because that's how they make money with the data. So they're not willing to share it that easily, which makes sense in a way. But yeah, it's
Yeah, I think
difficult.
I think Meta in particular is in
Yeah, yeah,
business
yeah.
for Meta. You
They're
know?
they're the hardest.
Yeah.
You can't really, even if you want to extract the data, they're not going to give you the details of what's happening. Whereas for other platforms like Shopify, if you extract it, you can see more information that what they give you on the dashboard. But Meta, they're difficult.
Yeah, and I think there's data volatility too. So
Yeah,
your ad model might work and then stop working, and you kind of go, "What the hell changed? It's only been 2 weeks."
yeah,
So this is the danger of algorithmic based ad strategies, right? They're whimsical,
yeah,
and it's one of the reasons why our vision of Mox is it's an omnichannel brand. It's going to be back in retail. We have some things happening right now. The retail landscape is tough. You don't want to go to retail unless you have a great brand and the right price and some base level of awareness. You get crushed. But the nice thing about retail is it's a little more predictable in a lot of ways. If it works, it continues to work.
yeah. So you anticipated my next question already. What is your vision for the next 12 months? So you mentioned retail. Is there any other projects that you have for Mox in the coming year?
I can't tell you all our secrets. You know what I mean? So uh, we have a really clear vision of our retail strategy. It is built around two of our newer products, our Invisible Armor sunblock, which I described as zinc oxide mineral sunblock that, astonishingly, when you rub it in, it goes clear. And then we have a product for active guys called the Muscle Roller that is a bit of an oddball, but it's a phenomenal product. And our pharmacist invented it in his pharmacy. And what it does is it just helps you if you have any kind of pain or discomfort, or you're getting ready to go work out and you want to feel better. You just roll this balm on, and you get instant relief, and you get inflammation reduction. And the way it works is unbelievable. It actually overrides the pain receptors in the body. So active men relate to, when my shoulder hurts, my knee hurts, my back hurts, but I want to keep working out. And this is a tool for them to do that. It's a great price point, and we have a strategy built around those two items in select retailers that we're commercializing right now. I don't think we're going to launch any new products anytime soon. We have the basics, and guys don't want a lot of complexity. So for us, it's more going into a phase of execution. How do we scale our ad model? How do we scale Amazon? How do we scale Google? How do we take select retailers, build relationships with them? And there's kind of a land and expand approach with retail that works really well. I've done a lot of work with national retailers in my career, and it's they want you to be successful, and they have expectations of what your retail velocity is going to be. So if you go to retail, you have to be super smart about which products belong there, what they're priced at, and yeah, and then just you build from strength. You don't want to take too many items out of the gate. You don't want to have the wrong price point. All that catches up with you over time because you just won't have the sales velocity to keep distribution. So with national retailers, you can get distribution. It's a question of keeping distribution.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
So that's my vague answer around what's coming next. I
no,
apologize.
no. Thank you so much for sharing. Now I have a last question. It's a loaded one, but I like to ask it because I think it's a good way to wrap things up. Um, what are some of the most important things you've learned in your career?
Wow. I mean, the golden rule matters in business just like it does in your family. Just treat people the way you want to be treated. Um, I think that when you have talent that's performing, it's just unbelievable for the business. So as a leader, one of the things you can't be is slow to make changes with people if they're not killing it, because one, they're not happy if they're not killing it, and two, you need the business to work. Um, hmm. I think those are the two things that come to mind. I mean, entrepreneurship, creating a new business is extremely difficult. I think that I'd say the last thing is, like, if you're going to go down the path of creating a new brand, it takes years, and you have to have the fortitude to understand that. And some of the things that I've done, I build a great community of friends who are also entrepreneurs, and they support me. They understand at a level that other people may not. So I think just having a support system, being very, very quick if you don't have the right team to get the right team, and just to treat people with the respect they deserve. I mean, that goes back to why I got into this business in the first place. Like, one of the things I love about Mox is um, people love our products, and when you walk into the room, like I said, and you feel good because you're looking good. That's meaningful. It's really meaningful. So that's why I'm here.
Definitely. Well, thank you so much for sharing this, and I think that's very wise advice. Um, Thanks so much for coming on the podcast. Now, for the people that are listening or watching this and that want to reach out to you, where can they find you?
If they want to reach me, they can shoot me a note at Peter at moxmindbody.com. MIND body.com. All right.
Okay, got it. I'll put that information in the description of the podcast. And thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Take care.